Aside from having an outstanding career in Major League Baseball, legendary Yankees catcher Yogi Berra was known for many famous and ironically humorous sayings. One of them is, "It's deja vu all over again." Well, for Donald Trump, that is very much the case. Do you wonder what I'm talking about? Hang on, folks. I'm going to explain everything here in just 1 second. My name is Brian Trippett. I am your front porch conservative. Step on up to my electronic front porch and let's talk. Tuesday morning, former President Donald J. Trump took to Truth Social to make an announcement about some information that he'd received Sunday night, and in doing so, set off a storm of conversation and controversy. So let's take a look at the Truth Social post that he made, take a look at the news surrounding it, and then do an analysis of what this means going forward. So we start with the Truth Social post. Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States. Wow. On Sunday night, while I was with my family, having just arrived from the Turning Point event in Florida, where I won a straw poll against all other Republican candidates with 85.7%, with all polls showing me leading in the Republican primary by very substantial numbers, almost everyone predicting that I will be the Republican nominee for president, and as I am leading Democrat Joe Biden in the polls by a lot, horrifying news for our country was given to me by my attorneys. Deranged Jack Smith, the prosecutor with Joe Biden's DOJ, sent a letter, again, it was Sunday night, stating that I am a target of the January 6th grand jury investigation and giving me a very short 4 days to report to the grand jury, which almost always means an arrest and indictment. Going toward the end of the statement, this witch hunt is all about election interference and a complete and total political weaponization of law enforcement. It is a very sad and dark period for our nation. Okay, that's what Trump posted on Truth Social. Now, he makes a statement toward the end of the second paragraph that says, which almost always means an arrest and an indictment. Now, I'm not saying that he's wrong, but do we know of a certainty that's what's going to happen? Be perfectly honest, I'd say the probability is there. I can't see him being called to appear before a grand jury unless something big was about to go down. Now, let's go to an article from the New York Post and take a look at this. Headline: Trump says he's been told he's, quote, target of DOJ's Capitol riot probe. Now, it's not so much the entrance to this article I want to read as I want to get a little further into it. It's unclear what precisely Trump would be charged with in relation to the events of January 6th, though possibilities include obstructing an official proceeding, conspiracy to commit election fraud by authorizing slate of fake electors to pledge their votes to him, or knowingly soliciting money under false pretenses by claiming to need funding for legal challenges. Trump told thousands of supporters gathered near the White House on the day of the riot that he wanted them to march on Congress to protest and reverse his loss as legislators met to formally count the results of the Electoral College. Trump also urged Vice President Mike Pence to attempt to unilaterally reject swing state electors, which Pence refused to do. Okay, let's talk about this for a few minutes. It is no secret that ever since January the 6th, Democrats and or people in the Justice Department and or people in the deep state have been trying to find a way to hurt Donald Trump from a legal standpoint for any number of different reasons, laying aside whether he would or would not run for president again. But I think knowing full well that Trump would take one more shot at the presidency, somebody needed to do something to try to take him down. This, in the opinion of many, may be the thing that will do it. I disagree with that, but okay. I'm not inside somebody else's head thinking this thought. Now, odds are I'd say Trump is going to be given an indictment, arrested, he'll be arraigned, whatever. I can see all that possibly happening, much like what's happened in New York City and much like what happened in Miami. Where does this go from here? No idea yet. Now, Trump is given 4 days, I'm going to assume from the date of the receipt of the letter, to report to Washington, D.C., which, given that he got it on Sunday, should be Wednesday of this week. Probably about the time most of you are seeing this video. And don't worry, we'll update with what we know and what we find out in the press. Now, that's what Trump had to say about it. His opponents, on the other hand, wasted no time responding to this. And I want to go first to Ron DeSantis. Take a look at this. Headline from Mr. DeSantis. DeSantis backs Trump against, quote, weaponized DOJ. I hope he doesn't get charged. Now, if that's not one of the weakest answers to a question I've ever seen, wait a minute. Before I say much further, let's get into this article. Written by Ryan King and Victor Nava. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said Tuesday he hopes former President Donald Trump isn't charged in special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into the 2024 Republican frontrunners' actions during the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot, arguing that it wouldn't be, quote, good for the country. Quote, I don't think it serves us good to have a presidential election focused on what happened 4 years ago in January, and so I want to focus on looking forward, DeSantis told CNN host Jake Tapper during an interview taped in Columbia, South Carolina. I don't want to look back. I do not want to see him. I hope he doesn't get charged. I don't think it'll be good for the country, the Sunshine State governor said. Now, what does all this mean for Donald Trump, the Republican primary field, and the election going forward? Okay, let's start thinking about this for a second. If history is any guide, then when this indictment comes down, and more than likely it will come down by Wednesday or at some point during this week, it's going to have the same effect that it's had every time it's happened already, be it in New York under Alvin Bragg, or be it Jack Smith's prosecution down in Miami related to the Mar-a-Lago raid. What's going to happen is the Republican base is going to see what's happening to Donald Trump, and they're going to rally to him. His poll numbers are astronomically sky high right now, both nationally and at a state level. Do this to Trump, and they'll go even higher. Now, I don't know how much higher, but they're going to go up. You would think that people that don't like Trump would realize the more you do this to him, the stronger you make him with the Republican base that's going to vote for him in about 6 months. And they can't stop him from being on the ballot. Now, there's rumors afoot about some chicanery that might happen prior to the convention in 2024, but that's down the road, and we'll deal with that when the time comes. Now, as far as the Republican field, this is what they have been waiting for. Now, that sounds a little bit strange. It almost sounds like they're wanting Donald Trump to be indicted. That's exactly what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. They want Donald Trump to be indicted because it's their belief that the indictments will knock him out, and in turn, each of the Republican contenders, DeSantis, Pence, Christie, all the rest, will rise to the top, and one of the I'm not Donald Trumpers will become the nominee of the party. The only problem with that is this. Number one, just like I said, Donald Trump gets stronger every time one of these indictments come down. And number two, in the absence of a full-throated defense of Donald Trump, the Republican base looks at these I'm not Donald Trumpers and says, I don't want you for the nominee. If you won't stick up for Trump, you won't stick up for me. No, you're not going to be my nominee. So it has just the opposite effect. But in their blind hatred of Trump, everything he represents politically and everything he represents as far as how it will deal with the Washington establishment, this is how rotted their brains are and how silly they've become in their thinking, that they believe that the weaponization of the DOJ against Trump is going to help them politically. Which, by the way, how weak of a candidate do you have to be that you have to rely on a criminal action against your political opponent to raise your political stakes? A little something worth considering. So, where does it go from here? Yet to be determined. But somewhere between, I'd say, Wednesday and Friday of this week, Trump's going to be in D.C. Odds are he will be indicted, he will be arrested, he'll be arraigned, and we're going to go through this deja vu all over again. But that's what I think about it. What do you think? Do me some favors as we wrap up this video. Number one, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please do so. Number two, please hit the bell for notifications. I want to make sure you're always aware when I've got a new video or a live stream coming out. Number three, please share this video around. I'll take all the help I can get as a small little one-man band. Number four, please give me a thumbs up on the video. And number five, anytime you can, spread the word. My name is Brian Trippett. I am your front porch conservative, and I'll see you next time.